Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrecht and Tommy Kester.
Welcome in, everybody, and happy Thursday to you here on Sports Daily. We got a fun show for you coming up on this Thursday. World Series is in the books. We will go through Game 5, perhaps the most interesting game of the series, but it goes the Dodgers' way, and the Dodgers are the champions. We'll also get into the look ahead to the weekend of football. We'll do it from a betting perspective. Our betting insider, PJ Glasser, joins us a little bit later in this hour. And then our K-State insider, Tim Fitzgerald, joins us top of the next hour. Look ahead to the Cats football game and to look back at the Cats exhibition basketball opener. That's all coming for you. Of course, the IHOP hotline's open for you as well. 869-1240. You can celebrate the weekdays with new IHOP House Faves, all your favorites for just $6 Monday through Friday. We'll give away some HTO today as well. And we got a big Thursday night football game tonight. I think that's fairly interesting. I'm Jacob Albrecht alongside Tommy Kester, Jad Chambers producing, and we welcome you in to a Thursday edition of Sports Daily. Thanks for listening on KFH and the Odyssey app. Thanks for watching us on 12 News Connected, on Facebook, on YouTube, on X, however it is you're taking in the show. Happy Halloween, everybody. Tommy, how are you?
Hey, good morning. I was going to mention it took you a while to get to Halloween. It's a big day today, and my kids I know are jacked up and excited about it. We're going to get them all hopped up on sugar tonight, I'm sure. It just goes back to the whole point that I've thought about for a long time. I hate the fact that Halloween and the 4th of July are probably the two where they don't always fall on a weekend. They fall on a weeknight. And I know the 4th of July, it's the July 4th, right? So that's hard to do. But Halloween, can we not make it a Saturday night? Like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, I've advocated for it. Needs to be the last Saturday of October. It's not hard. It's not complicated. There is a religious holiday tomorrow, but not Halloween, right? So make Halloween the last Saturday of the month. It's not complicated, and it drives me insane. At least it's on a Thursday and not like a Tuesday.
Yeah, that helps a little bit.
Helps a little bit. Our kids are fired up. My son is first. He's in kindergarten, so it's his first, at school. He was waking me up. Normally, I wake them up. Not today. Like, he was fired up, about, I don't know what time it was, 6:50 in the bed. Like, let's go. Like, it's time to go have breakfast. Like, we need to get this going right now. So, yeah, happy Halloween, everybody. I haven't, celebrated as an adult for Halloween, and it's been a long time, like a decade. I've never been, the costume parties get to be a big deal, but I kind of phased out of those a long time ago. It's a lot of effort to just be uncomfortable at a party for a little while. I applaud all the great costume ideas that people have, but I haven't dressed up in a while, and I don't know if that's depressing. I don't know how much it bothers me that I don't anymore.
Are you a Halloween guy? Like, do you consider yourself into the holiday? Do you enjoy it, everything with it?
I enjoy it. I love trick-or-treating. I'm getting off, TV work early so I can make sure I'm trick-or-treating with the kids. Like, I love the kids' costumes. It's totally transformed. As an adult, it's become a holiday all for the kids. I do love the holiday, though. Now, I don't love scary stuff. So that part of it, like, oh, let's watch a scary movie. No, absolutely not. I don't understand the point of being scared. I don't know why people enjoy being scared. I happen to not like getting scared.
Sure.
So no, why would I put myself through that? But no, the festivities of the holiday, I love them. I think Halloween's great.
Yeah, I'm not a big Halloween fan at all. I really never have been. For me, it's like getting through the Halloween holiday to then be able to get to the meat of the holiday season. Like, Halloween's kind of that appetizer that you're like, I'm good. I want to save my appetite for Thanksgiving and then Christmas, obviously. So I've never really been into the holiday.
It's funny. We're transplants here, so we don't have any family here.
Yeah.
So the holiday season that you're talking about is very different for us. And it's two of the busiest, Thanksgiving and Christmas are two of the busiest, most labor-intensive weeks we have at the HTO stores. So those are a little bit different for us now than they used to be. Like, we get to Christmas sort of after Christmas, and Thanksgiving is very brief. And we're used to it. Like, it's been that way since we moved here. We work in TV with the holidays. Like, there is no holiday in TV.
I can't believe you guys are Ebenezer Scrooging Halloween right here in front of us
I
all.
mean, hey, like I'm gonna own it. I don't even try to hide.
I do like Halloween. I just don't dress up myself anymore. But that doesn't mean that's just because I have kids now. I love Halloween. I love going to strangers' houses and asking them for candy and looking at all the creative costumes and the effort people put in. I'm just not going to put in that kind of effort anymore.
Yeah,
Like I can't wait to steal my kids' Butterfingers tonight. Like I
Jad,
love
I'm
Halloween.
I'll own the fact, Jad, that I am a Scrooge for Halloween. I don't even try to hide my disdain for the holiday. I've never cared for it. It's just not anything that I don't know. I don't enjoy it. Now it is a little bit different now that I have kids. Like I'll go trick or treating with them. But my wife, for example, like she had this idea, like we should all dress up to go trick or treating. I'm like, no, I'm fine. Like I will wear regular clothes and I will walk through the neighborhood.
Yeah, I did.
And
I
you
did.
can wear the costume. Like I'm not into that. That's not
I
really.
used to dress up with the kids, but now I just don't have time. Like I get off work and it's straight to trick or treating. Like I literally get off work early so that I can drive home and immediately start. Like I don't have time to do it. Jad, I would imagine that Jad loves Halloween, but loves it because of all the scary and spooky and horror and all. Yeah, no.
I have spent all month watching scary movies, playing scary video games.
Why? Why would you want to put
yeah.
yourself through that? Like why? Like I don't understand it. I've never understood it. It's uncomfortable. I'd much rather laugh or, maybe tear up in a movie than be terrified. I've always hated scary movies. My whole life I've hated scary movies. I don't understand them. Why put yourself through that,
The
Jack?
Exorcist.
No.
No.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll pass. Yeah,
just got better from there.
It's not me. I'm not a fan of that sort of thing either. It just doesn't really like resonate with me. I don't know. I mean, I'm open about the fact that I don't care for the holiday.
I hope my kids don't want to watch scary movies because like roller coasters are not my favorite thing, but I make myself ride them with my kids so that they're not chickens too.
Yeah.
But I really hope I don't have to do the same thing with scary movies because I really
So-
don't like scary movies.
Here's an issue that I've ran into in my life as an adult is that my wife is a huge Halloween fan. Like she was, and I don't even, what's the name of the daughter from the Addams family?
Wednesday?
Wednesday. She was Wednesday Addams for like 4 or 5 years in a row when she was a kid. Like she loves Halloween. She wanted to in our first house that we had when we were married. She wanted to do like a haunted graveyard in our backyard, and I put a hard stop on that. I'm like, look, like I'm not into that. Like, I mean, I guess if you want to manage it on Halloween,
why don't you let her do it?
That's fine. But I'll be the guy that I buy the bag of candy and I turn off the porch light and I just eat the candy by
Oh,
myself.
you are a fun hater. No, I like
I'm not
giving
into
out
Halloween.
candy. You don't like giving
love-
out candy to kids?
I like eating the candy. No, I don't like giving out the candy. You know why I don't like giving out the candy? And it won't happen this year. But in years past, you know how many times I've been trying to watch a World Series game, or I guess Thursday night football tonight, and I've had to continuously stop down and answer the door and hand out a piece of candy.
Man,
Just don't come to my door. Like I'll turn the
suppose
porch
none
light
of
off.
this. I suppose none of this surprises me. Now I wish you were in like cat ears here for the show today, or just something that I knew you had. Who doesn't like giving out candy to cute kids on Halloween? I mean, come on. I don't get to do that anymore because now we go with the kids, and I don't. Soon they'll want to leave me behind, and then I'll have to stay. But yeah, that's a bit to mess with the kids.
Different context. Like it's not about like I don't like giving candy to kids. Like that's not what it's about. It's about the interruption in the evening. So the workaround for that, and I'm in full support of people that want to do this. You leave the bowl of candy on your porch with a sign that says
absolutely
"Take
not.
one." And then
they have to work for it. They have to work for it if they're going to get bucket loads of candy. Absolutely not. Man, how disappointing. Didn't expect that turn. God, Tommy, anti-trick-or-treater. Unbelievable.
Hey,
Unbelievable.
I own it. I own my feelings on that.
I know. 869-1240 is the number to call. Hope everybody has a safe Halloween. How about some of that rain we got? Looks like we're going to get a little clear here tonight. Be good. And then it'll rain a whole bunch more. And, man, we really need it, and we'll take it. Speaking of the World Series, we get Game 5 in the books last night. Dodgers win it. It was an entertaining game 5, not all that entertaining a series. The most entertaining thing from game 4 was a fan interfering with Mookie Betts, and then the Dodgers kind of dominated the series. I feel like it let us down a little bit. I think it let us down a little bit from what we hoped this series might be. Although you had, several of the star players having really good series, and I always love to see the Yankees lose, so it's fulfilling for me as a baseball fan in that way. But I do think the series let us down a little bit. It wasn't all that competitive.
I thought it was a great series. I thought it was a lot of fun. I mean, because you had definitely some dramatic moments. I mean, even in
you had game 1,
the
I
first
agree.
couple of games, like even game 2, like there were dramatic moments in the early games that the Dodgers won that made it entertaining. And then there was drama last night with the Dodgers erasing the lead, and then it was tied, and Dodgers ultimately win. Like it was high drama, even though the series ended 4-1.
Yeah, I'll concede that. There were good moments. I just hoped for a longer, more dramatic series, I guess, and the Yankees just couldn't deliver. Dodgers delivered plenty. I mean, sorry, a moment we'll remember with Freddie Freeman forever, obviously, in game 1. So, yeah, I'll concede that a little bit. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get to the phone lines. Anthony, hang with us. We'll get to your call. We got PJ Glasser coming bottom of the hour. We got a Thursday night football game. I don't really know what to do with. You might be surprised at who's favored. I think I might be leaning that way from a betting perspective. We'll get into all of it as we make our way through it. Sports Daily. It is a Thursday. Tommy hates Halloween, and we'll be right back.
A mourning widow sells her husband's car trying to move on, but the checks came back in his name.
How do they expect him to cash his checks?
Looking for answers, fact finder Brandon Stitt went to the Department of Revenue. A proposed energy plan that threatens Kansas landowners, meaning some families could lose their homes.
My land is not for sale. Others' land is not for sale. Our lifestyle is not for sale.
12 News took their concerns to Senators Marshall and Moran. When you need answers, turn to the fact finders for help. Right. Start your day with 12 News this morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSEW.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local. and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Sports Daily here on a Thursday. Tommy Castor, Jacob Albrocht, a lot to get to on the program here in hour number one, Jacob.
Yeah, and we got this portion of the program brought to you by Crestview Country Club. Fall at the club, still golfing, tennis. The club life doesn't slow down with the weather changing. You've got the holidays coming up that we were talking about last segment. You got brunch experiences. There's a New Year's Eve event, a lot of Thanksgiving events and youth activities, adult nights at the club. Give Crestview a call. Ask about all different kinds of memberships. If you don't play golf, there are different kinds that are less expensive, that are social variety. Give them a call. Tell them we sent you at Sports Daily. Let's go to the phone lines, the IHOP hotline here as we open things up at 869-1240. Anthony on the line joining us here. Anthony, what's up?
Oh, me, unfortunately, because I had to rip around and get tags renewed, and I had to come make a payment. Boy, you talk about being 57 and trying to run around like a 20-year-old. That's no fun.
It's not. What's up, Anthony? What's on your mind?
Well, what's on my mind is I was just wondering, do you guys plan on checking out any high school football playoffs? Because they're starting to ramp up now. And what games of interest do you have? Because I view KFH as the sports leader, covering all aspects, and just wondering what games of interest are out there for you guys. Because I don't hear you guys talk a lot of high school football, but since it's playoff time, I figure throw that out there. Especially since I try to cover it my own self, seeing some talented players this year in all levels. So I was just wondering, are there any games of interest, or any players that you're watching for in particular? And I'm gonna hang up and listen to your answer.
Yeah, sure. We appreciate the call, Anthony. Of course, Jalen Mason of Wichita Northwest. Nice little spotlight for him. Just committed to KU. We talk high school football every Friday. Catch Kansas. TJ Cleveland stops by and runs it through with us. So make sure you listen around 10:30 tomorrow, Anthony, and we'll get you a full preview of those high school football playoffs. It is round one. Round one can get a little lopsided. Not a lot of great matchups here as every team makes it. And you get a lot of 1 versus 16s and things like that. But yeah, tune in tomorrow. We'll have a full Catch Kansas preview with TJ Cleveland on the high school football scene. I appreciate the call there. Tommy, we get ready for all kinds of football now. We're coming down the home stretch. We've got K-State football. We've got Chiefs football on a Monday night. We're going to go through all of that with PJ Glasser, including Thursday night football. I got to tell you, Jets-Texans, when I saw this, I loved the matchup. We've got the Jets favored tonight, which is interesting. And I think we all know why that is, because the Texans are now down their 2 top receivers for this game. I'm curious to see what PJ has to say about it. You know, the Jets, the Jets are essentially in a must win. They have to win this game to have a chance. And the Texans sit here against a defense that's been kind of bad. Like, it's still the Texans. They're 6-2. They're trying to fight through these injuries. I'm pretty in on this Thursday night football game.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the desperation is 100% there for the Jets. And really, honestly, it should be for Aaron Rodgers. I think it probably is. He's not going to show that. He's not going to tell people. He's not going to go on Pat McAfee and admit that, the desperation is set in for him. He's going to always try to play it cool, always try to be cool, calm, and collected, and, have it be all these external things that are going on and all the other people that are around him are panicking and he's not. But it's obviously there. And if it's not there, it should be there for Aaron Rodgers and the entire organization, because it's been a dumpster fire. On top of that, don't forget that by and large, this is the same team that the Jets trotted out a year ago, except it was Zach Wilson under center. And the Jets had a better record at this time with Zach Wilson than they currently do with Aaron Rodgers. And it's pretty much the same team. Now, of course, they added Devontae Adams in, and they really like Braylon Allen, and like there are some different things that are different. But
I'll tell you, the offense is better, but the defense is much worse.
100%.
That's been the problem. Like, if they had the defense that they've had the last, even 3 years, this would be one of the top teams in the AFC, because the offense is pretty effective. Even with, Rodgers isn't peak Rodgers, but he's at least letting their playmakers make plays, which was always the problem with Zach Wilson. They're fascinating to me. And this is nothing like, it's not like an opinion on Rodgers. It's probably mostly about Breece Hall. Anthony asked about high school football, one of the great high school football players that's ever played in this city. I want success for him as much as anything else. But I just am intrigued by the team, and I want to see them be relevant later in the year because they're interesting. Like, if nothing else, they're interesting. They have star players. It's just like nobody saw this defense letting them down this way. I don't think. I certainly did not. I thought, boy, if Aaron Rodgers can be anywhere near what he used to be and the offense is better, this is going to be a really good team. The offense has been much better. And they're not better because their defense is just falling apart. And maybe Robert Saleh not being there has something to do with that. I don't know.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, the defense wasn't great when Saleh was the coach this year, the first few games, but they've gotten even worse now that Saleh is gone.
And he's a defense guy.
He is. And I think that it's important to acknowledge that. And I think it's important to also acknowledge why the Jets made the change when they did. And, so I don't think anybody should be surprised by what we've seen.
No, I don't think and the other part of and this does not include last week, certainly, because it was the Patriots, but the Jets have played a difficult schedule, right? Like, their schedule has not been easy. San Francisco, Denver, Minnesota, Buffalo, Pittsburgh. Last week, notwithstanding, all of their losses have come to teams we expect to at least be in the mix for the postseason. They crushed New England the first time they played them. So they haven't had any schedule relief, and they don't really get a lot of schedule relief. Like, they're going to have to beat teams that we think are better than them, including tonight against Houston, even though they're favored, or if they want any chance at this thing.
Yeah, I think that with the Texans, desperation's not the right word, because
they don't have to be desperate.
They're 6-2, but I mean, clearly you are hobbled offensively. You don't have the personnel that you would want to have. And especially with them going out and acquiring Steph Diggs in the offseason and then losing him for the rest of the year. Like, they need Nico Collins back, and they need him back.
And they'll get him back. And their division kind of sucks. The Texans are in no desperation whatsoever. Like, they don't, positioning and everything, they should at least win their division, but they don't need to have any pressure on them. You got to survive until you get Nico Collins back. Maybe there's still a move to be made to upgrade at wide receiver. Tank Dell's still really good. They've got good tight ends. They've got a good backfield. They'll be fine. I don't think they need to be desperate. But boy, the Jets do. Jets basically are in win every game or you're screwed mode right now. Like that's and we'll see how they respond to that. I think this will be a good game though tonight. And I want the best for Breece Hall, dadgummit. Like we finally got a competent quarterback in there. And now the defense can we get Breece a little help here, Jets? Come on, Jets. We're gonna talk about that game. We're gonna talk about all kinds of football when we bring in our betting insider, PJ Glasser. Next, he joins the program. We take you through Thursday night football, little college football, the NFL weekend, and of course into Chiefs on Monday night. Lot to cover. We'll do it next on Sports Daily.
A mourning widow sells her husband's car trying to move on, but the checks came back in his name.
How do they expect him to cash his check?
Looking for answers, fact finder Brandon Stitt went to the Department of Revenue. A proposed energy plan that threatens Kansas landowners, meaning some families could lose their homes.
My land is not for sale. Others' land is not for sale. Our lifestyle is not for sale.
12 News took their concerns to Senators Marshall and Moran. When you need answers, turn to the fact finders for help. Right. Start your day with 12 News this morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door, or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSEW.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into The Jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just
right
search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
All right, welcome back in, everybody. Sports Daily here. Jacob Albrock, Tommy Castor. Glad to be here with you. Jad Chambers producing. And right now on the line, the host of Send It In, an Odyssey Sports Betting Insider, PJ Glasser, joins the program. Insider calls presented by BetMGM. Go check out all the latest lines today on the BetMGM app. Also, be sure to listen in to the Send It In podcast for more analysis. Just search Send It In wherever you find your podcast. PJ, good morning. Happy Halloween.
Yeah, you guys as well. Great to be with you. How's everything going?
It's good. We learned that Tommy hates fun, hates Halloween, doesn't like giving kids candy when they come to trick or treat at his door. So, you know, we've taken an interesting turn.
I need to kind of defend myself a little bit to PJ. And I think you could probably relate to this, PJ. There's nothing worse than being locked into whether it's a World Series game some years or tonight, Thursday Night Football, and you're constantly interrupted by the doorbell ringing. You have to get up and you have to go give candy to kids. I'd rather just walk into the game.
I think that's fair. It was nice that even if the Yankees did win yesterday, that we'd have an off day today. So all we'd have to worry about is the NFL. But I think that's totally fair, Tommy, especially if your team's playing. You know, like that's the last thing you want is middle of the game or a big play like the doorbell to ring, and then you got to go answer that. So I think
you got to pretend like with the kids, like, oh, I love your costume, and really you're just like pissed off that you're not watching the game.
Most of society, to you two Scrooges, actually is excited about the candy and the cute kids in their costumes, and you know we all have phones now. Just take the game with you as you walk to the door. Come on now. This is whatever.
Are you guys believers in like leaving the buckets of candy out in front of your door for people to take?
The only reason I do that is because I have to still walk with my kids while we go trick or treating. But as far as like having the option of being home and doing that, no. Like I don't want to advocate for getting eggs thrown at your door, or surprises left in your bucket, but answer the door and hand the cute kids their candy. Make them work for it.
I think that's fair, especially because you usually get that one group of kids that whenever they see a bucket outside and the lights are off in the house, they just take all the candy in the bowl. So that's just no fun for anybody.
And you got to mess with the annoying kids too, like that that think they're funny or trying to impress their friends. Like you don't get to mess with those kids like you do when you answer the door. But hey, listen, don't interrupt Tommy tonight for Jets Texans. Kids, let's go. PJ, this is a really interesting game. I've seen lines anywhere from 1.5 to 2.5. It's strange to me because Steph Diggs is not a 2.5 point player. So that tells me that the Jets were going to be favored even if he wasn't hurt. Does that surprise you at all?
You know, early on in the week when I saw that this line was only Texans -1, and then the Jets took some more money once we realized that Diggs had the torn ACL and he was out. I mean, look, anytime you see a 6-2 team against a 2-6 team and the 2-6 team's favored, like it's always going to make you pause a little bit. We know the Jets, I mean, they've had tons of expectations. I mean, all these games that they're losing, guys, like they're favored in or they're small underdogs, you know? New England game, they were favored. The Buffalo game, they were small dogs. The Steelers game, they were favored in that one. So it's like all these games that they've been losing, theoretically, they should have been winning at least half of them. For me, I don't know how you can bet the Jets. Even though the line is telling you to bet the Jets, I personally I can't do it. It feels like after that New England game, that was kind of the dream crusher for the Jets. Guys, at this point in the AFC, like they almost have to run the table or maybe have like one game that they can afford to lose. Meanwhile, Houston just keeps finding ways to win these games. You know, they're a team that I'm looking forward to fading here a little bit. I know Nico Collins is going to come back soon, which is obviously going to be huge, but even so, the Diggs injury is big. They don't have much receiving depth right now. Their defense has kind of been carrying this team. I think coming into the year, when we thought of Houston, it was going to be, this offense with Stroud, and they're going to put up so many points. It's kind of been the opposite. Stroud's really struggled this season. And you go back and look at his home road splits the first 2 years of his career, he's a much different quarterback on the road than he is at home. So I think a lot of people look at this line, they feel like it's a bit fishy, but I actually understand why the Jets are favored. So for me, it's a stay away. I think, it's a good teaser leg. You tease Houston up to +7.5. All they do is play everybody one possession, one score type games. So I like Houston in a teaser tonight. But yeah, the Jets, being favored, I can't get there with this team.
From a player prop perspective, PJ, I mean, clearly with the shorthanded receiving core that the Texans have, you would think that they're going to have to lean pretty heavily on Tank Dell. Is he somebody that you would want to keep an eye on and maybe, try to do one of his props, whether it's receiving yards or targets or catches?
Tank Dell, I think, would be a good option. I think Dalton Schultz is another good option, too. The Jets have struggled a little bit against tight ends the last couple of years. Guys, honestly, I don't think you overthink it. Joe Mixon. I mean, the Jets are not very good against the run. And when he's been healthy this year, he's been awesome for Houston. I mean, he's had 4 games where he's rushed for over 100 yards. And, on a short week like this, I think Houston just wants to escape and they want to try and get a victory any way that they can, knowing that they got a long week upcoming. They're going to get Nico Collins back after this game, most likely. So I think they're just going to lean on their defense and they're going to lean on their run game and Mixon tonight. So I don't know if I do anything with the Texans passing game, just because without their top 2 receivers, you don't know what that's going to look like, but they're definitely going to feature Mixon tonight. So I think over rushing attempts for Mixon, 20.5, that's a prop that I like.
I think over 42.5 is a bet I like. Make the Jets prove it on defense. If they keep sucking, defensively, 42.5 is fairly low. Have we begun to buck on that, PJ, this short week or prime time? It feels like these games have not been as bland as they have been in years past, and we're actually getting some decent action on Thursday nights.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. And, this stuff obviously always evens out, right? The underdogs were doing unbelievable to start the season. They were winning outright. And then before last week, we were seeing the favorites cover all these games the last couple of weeks. So all these stuff tends to, kind of even out throughout the years. And I think that's what you're starting to see in this Thursday night game. Again, it is a low total, like you said, Jacob. I just don't know, man, with the way that Texas is banged up on offense this year and in this game without their top 2 receivers, with the way Stroud's played on the road in his career, I would just be a little nervous taking the over in this game.
There are some really intriguing NFL matchups this weekend. In one of the early games on Sunday, the Broncos and the Ravens enter this game with the same record. The game is obviously in Baltimore. You would think that the Ravens will try to want to shake off everything that happened a week ago when they played Cleveland. They're 5-3. They're better than their record indicates that they are. And I wonder, are the Broncos, I mean, they're 5-3 as well, but that's kind of a quiet under the radar 5-3. What do you make of this game with Baltimore being nearly double-digit favorites?
Well, as you guys know, I'm a Ravens fan, right? So I have a good read on my team, and I kind of just know in the back of my head the kinds of games that they lose. And it feels like these are the kind of games, oddly enough, that they always lose. Like, they're great as an underdog. They're great against the NFC. They're great when the spread is close or it's under a field goal. But guys, these games where they're big favorites, I actually went back and looked because I was so fascinated by it. The Ravens the last 2 seasons have lost 6 regular season games with Lamar as quarterback. That's it. Just 6 games. 5 of the 6 games have fallen in the same category as this Denver game on Sunday. Just 3 things have to align. The Ravens play an AFC team. They play at 1 p.m. Eastern time, and they're a favorite of 4 points or more. When those three things happen, the Ravens have lost five of their last 6 losses have been in those kind of games. The only loss, of course, was to the Chiefs on opening night, but they lost to the Raiders in week 2. Right after that Chiefs game. Last year, they lost to Pickett and the Steelers. They lost to Minshew and the Colts. They lost to the Browns and Deshaun Watson. Like, these are the games the Ravens always have letdowns. They always play the level of their competition. I know Bo Nix isn't very good, but neither is this Ravens secondary. I think he's going to be able to make some plays, and Denver's obviously got a good defense that I think will be able to keep them in the game. So until the Ravens show me that they can cover a big spread like this in the early window, these are the kind of games, guys, where they just always kind of have a letdown. These are the games where you want to fade them. I think Lamar in his career is like 2-11-1 against the spread as a favorite of a touchdown or more. It's just, they're not the same team in these kind of games. So I like Denver plus the 9. And look, history tells us too, to take some money line with Denver as well. The Ravens, they have lost this kind of game before in the past.
That is a wild stat. 9 points is a lot too. I don't think anybody believes Denver. I wonder, because I want to look at Sunday Night Football a little bit, and we'll get to the Chiefs and some of your favorite NFL plays. But what do we believe about the Vikings? Because I see that game against the Colts. I think everybody feels like Joe Flacco is like the savior for Indianapolis and all these things. And the Vikings under a touchdown in that game feels pretty good to me. I think they're better than their recent reputation. And I love Joe Flacco too. Like, Joe Flacco's been a great story. But is he really going to, I think we're overthinking that just a little bit at the same time. I kind of like the Vikings there in that spot on Sunday Night Football.
I do too. I like Minnesota. Man, if Richardson was starting, it would be one of my favorite bets of the week. I mean, him going up against that Flores defense, like, that's a disaster waiting to happen. But I think Flacco could be too, right? Because we know with Flacco, the Colts are going to throw the ball 40 times, and Flores is going to scheme some stuff up. Joe, you're going to get high variance things, right? You're going to get some great plays, but you're going to get some turnover-worthy throws as well. I think against Minnesota, that's a recipe for disaster. Guys, I also love the message that Minnesota's front office sent to their team, right? I think a lot of people came into this year thinking maybe it was a bridge year. They draft J.J. McCarthy, maybe develop him. He gets hurt. Darnold's obviously having a really good season, but Christian Darrisaw got hurt in that Rams game, one of the best tackles in football. And then what did the Vikings do? They went out and they traded for Cam Robinson from the Jags, right? So the Vikings are telling their players in that locker room, the coaches, that they are continuing to go for it. That's one of the best home field advantages in the NFL. So I'm with you, Jacob. I like Minnesota in this game. People are going to like Indy because Flacco's in there, and I like them better long-term, certainly with Flacco over Richardson, but not on Sunday night. I like Minnesota.
It seems like a heavyweight bout, and we talked about the Vikings and staying in the NFC North. You've got the Lions, you've got the Packers, and I mean, Detroit obviously has shown its firepower offensively, flexing a little bit, putting up a ton of points this season, but the Packers are no slouches either. This game is at Lambeau. I think the only hesitation that I can come up with is just this narrative that is usually surrounding, what Jared Goff does outside when he's not in a dome. I wonder, does that play into it in your mind? And are there any good angles with this matchup?
100%, Tommy. That's a huge part of this handicap is not only is Goff bad outdoors, guys. I mean, this is week 9. This is the Lions' 7th game of the season. This is the first time Goff's going to be outdoors this year. It's why I like the Lions so much coming into the season, was because they only had to play 3 games outdoors. This is one of them. So that's certainly part of the handicap. Also, you got the fact that you're getting the Packers as underdogs of more than a field goal. Matt LaFleur, 17-4 against the spread as a head coach of a dog of 3 or more points. So normally really good in these spots. Now, obviously, the line is going to move depending on who the quarterback is. If it's Malik Willis, probably goes up to 4.5. If it's Jordan Love, probably goes down to 1.5, 2. That's why odds makers are kind of playing in the middle of both of those things. But that's why I like betting it now while you're getting it over the field goal. So I like Green Bay plus the points. I'd take some money line as well. Lions look like the best team in football, potentially certainly one of the top 2 or 3. But this is a divisional game on the road. Goff's outdoors, and LaFleur is just so good as a dog. So I like Green Bay, guys. I like them plus the points. I think they can win that game.
Yeah. And surely Jordan Love, if he has any chance, would want to play in that game. Let's go to Monday Night Football. The Chiefs, 9-point favorites. The Buccaneers dealing with all the injuries that they have. that line seems too big to me. But if you subscribe, I suppose, to how good the Chiefs defense is and just imagine how difficult it will be for Tampa to score, I get it. But that's a lot of points. I'm not sure I'm comfortable with 9 points. I'm not saying I'd bet the Bucks. I just don't know that I'd bet the Chiefs to cover.
It does feel like a lot, right? And I know that the Bucks obviously have a ton of injuries, but man, it doesn't feel like it matters who's a receiver for them. Like they just keep scoring points. I kind of like the over in this game at 45.5. I know we've been previewing a lot of these Chiefs games. We've talked about the under, how good their defense has been. But I just don't see how the Bucks are going to get stops on Kansas City, because even though the Bucks have just been a dead over team this year, guys. Their defense, their pass defense isn't any good, and their offense obviously has been great. They're scoring a ton of points. So I think both of those things are going to happen again. I think Kansas City is going to get into the high 20s, 30s. I think Tampa's going to get into the high teens, low 20s. You know, this feels like a 31 to 21, 20 kind of game, somewhere in that neighborhood. So I like the over 45.5. I'd actually lay it with Kansas City too if I had to at -9, just because the Bucks have been such a high scoring team this year. It does feel like a lot of points. We know, obviously, the MO with the Chiefs is they win games. They don't cover many spreads, even though they've been better this season. So I actually like Kansas City -9, but the over would be the play that I like.
What about DeAndre Hopkins? You know, he was on a short week last week going into his debut with the Chiefs, having a longer kind of ramp-up time or runway to get ready for a Monday night game and still get more acquainted with the offense. Do you envision an angle where you can play one of his props and be successful with that?
I think certainly touchdown score at +155 would be how I would attack Hopkins. You know, he hasn't learned the full playbook up to this point, but certainly getting more comfortable. They're going to use him in certain situations, third down, red zone as the priority. I'm looking at BetMGM now, guys. No receiving props up yet for that game, so they're obviously waiting to kind of see how things play out and all that. But I think anytime touchdown for Hopkins +155, I think that's a good bet.
Yeah, I like that. College football real quick, PJ. K-State, 13-point favorite. I know it's a road game at Houston. I kind of love 13 points there. They survived their rivalry game. I don't think there's any kind of letdown. I don't think Houston's very good, but I certainly don't know how they're going to stop that K-State offense. What are you feeling on that game?
I like the Kansas State team total over. That would be my bet in the game. I think they're going to be able to score. I agree with you. Houston's been playing a lot of low-scoring games this year, guys. Their offense has not been good, especially at home. I mean, at home, these games have kind of been low-scoring. So I don't want to take, the under in the game because I worry about Kansas State like scoring a bunch and maybe hurting that a little bit. But I just like the K-State team total over. I think that's a good bet, over 30.5 points. Their offense is playing much better. And their run game, I think, like you said, is going to be a problem for Houston to stop. So that's the angle I like in that one.
What else in college football do you like, PJ, or NFL? What are some of your favorite bets? It's a good college football weekend as far as
it is. Yeah, I'll give you guys one in each. So one of the NFL games we didn't talk about that I really like is Arizona against Chicago, guys. This stat that I'm going to give you is absolutely mind-blowing. But Matt Eberflus, in his career as the Bears head coach, is 3-17 straight up on the road. He's only ever won 3 games on the road as Bears head coach. It gets even better, though. All 3 of those wins came in weekday games, 2 on Monday night and 1 on Thursday. The guy's never won a road game on a Sunday. It's a little problematic when you play most of your games on a Sunday. So we'll take Arizona in that one. Obviously, the Bears off just that demoralizing loss on the Hail Mary to Washington. And then in college football, I like South Carolina outright this week against Texas A&M. I think that's going to be an upset. That's a fishy line with A&M only laying 2.5 on the road. Guys, I love my spots, right? And this A&M game, you have a big win against LSU. You have everybody patting you on the back, congratulating you on likely making the playoff, making it to the SEC championship. I mean, how many times do we see this, right? Notre Dame has a big win to start the year against A&M. They turn around by losing to Northern Illinois. Bama has a huge win against Georgia. They turn around by losing to Vanderbilt. I mean, this is what happens when you get 19, 20-year-old kids, right? The ups and downs of a season. South Carolina's coming off a bye. They're at home. It's a night game. That's a tricky spot for A&M. They better be careful. So I like South Carolina outright.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. All right, PJ, we'll enjoy the holiday. Try to at least pretend for the kids that it's going to be, it's going to be fun and they can get some candy and enjoy it. But enjoy Thursday Night Football. It's a juicy matchup, and we'll talk again next week.
Yes, sir. Happy Halloween, guys. Talk to you next week.
That was the host of Send It In, Odyssey Sports Betting Insider PJ Glasser. Insider calls are presented by BetMGM. Go check out all the latest lines today on the BetMGM app. I don't know that we'll get to this one tomorrow, Tommy, in our picks. Another line that is just really curious to me in college football. Iowa State is a 13.5-point favorite against Texas Tech. 13.5 points.
I mean, Texas Tech has
they're Jekyll and Hyde. I get it.
They really are. I mean, that Baylor game, they gave up a ton of points to Baylor.
TCU game, they absolutely blew it. But 13.5 points. You're gonna walk in the door with 13.5. I don't know. There's so many good matchups. I don't know that we'll get to that one. But that one, as I was looking, before our segment there with PJ, jumped off the page. That K-State game, 13.5. That's what I mean, right? Like K-State's only a 13.5 point favorite over Houston. You're gonna give Tech that kind of run? Like, come on. That seems crazy to me. We'll talk about K-State football. We'll talk a little K-State hoops coming up in our next segment. Our K-State insider, Tim Fitzgerald, will join the program. We'll see if he's a Halloween Scrooge. I would guess that he is not. But we'll do that next. Sports Daily rolling right along on a Thursday. Don't go away.
A mourning widow sells her husband's car trying to move on, but the checks came back in his name.
How do they expect him to cash his check?
Looking for answers, fact finder Brandon Stitt went to the Department of Revenue. A proposed energy plan that threatens Kansas landowners, meaning some families could lose their homes.
My land is not for sale. Others' land is not for sale. Our lifestyle is not for sale.
12 News took their concerns to Senators Marshall and Moran. When you need answers, turn to the fact finders for help. Right. Start your day with 12 News this morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSEW.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into the jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active
Just
right
search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
Now, from Wichita's most listened to sports radio, 97.5 and 1240 KFH. This is Sports Daily with Jacob Albrecht and Tommy Kester.
Welcome back in, everybody. It is hour number 2 here of Sports Daily, where we have you covered on a Thursday. Big Thursday, coming off a World Series, Thursday night football, getting you ready for a football weekend. If you missed anything with our betting insider, PJ Glasser, you can hop on the Odyssey app and go back and listen to that. By the way, speaking of the Odyssey app, you've got Thursday night football available right here on KFH in the Odyssey app. Tune into 97.5, 1240 KFH, 6:30 pregame coverage for Jets Texans. You can simply download the Odyssey app, search for KFH at game time as well. We're taking you through this Thursday. We're getting you ready for the weekend. That includes getting you ready for some college football as well this weekend. No KU, but we do get K-State. We also have K-State coming off of a basketball game. They played their exhibition game. A lot to get to. So let's bring in our buddy Tim Fitzgerald, who, you know, Fitz, you're in the purple glowing room. I'm going to pretend this is Halloween themed. Happy Halloween. We have learned today that Tommy hates Halloween. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like giving kids candy. He doesn't like anything about it. Where do you stand with Halloween?
I'm in favor of free candy. That's kind of where I'm at. But I'm turning my set all Halloweeny for you.
There you go.
Except there we go. The problem is when I go to the store, when my wife goes to the store and brings home candy, that to me is free candy for me.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm all for free candy, but I'm taking it first. And if there's any left for the little kids, I'll share it. That's not happening, but it's a theory.
Are you in favor? We've talked about this the entire show of having the bowl of candy just sitting outside your front door.
No.
Or do you have to get up and answer that's what I don't like is I have to get up and answer the door over and over and over again, especially if there's a primetime football game like there is tonight, or in years past, a World Series game. I
think, Tim, a better way to rephrase that question is, are you a sociopath, devoid of emotion, able to bring joy to these young kids?
Yes. Well, I'm a teacher by heart, and I like to teach them a little bit about history. So I typically on Halloween those big spike things that were at Normandy Beach, so you couldn't bring the tanks on. Yeah,
Yep.
I lined my house with those to keep the kids out, just teaching them some history.
Sure.
And the
You don't even
candy
put the
safe
you don't
inside
even
with
put
me.
the candy outside.
No, I wouldn't put the candy.
What
No,
is- what?
Jacob, let's be honest. There's no candy to put outside. It's in
Because
my
you've already
face.
eaten it all. I know. Yeah. Plus that.
It's
Yeah,
not
and
me.
I can't say much there because the first thing that happens when our kids get home is we're like, all right, kids, go to bed. And then my wife and I raid their bags, get all of the candy that we want, put it to the side, and then they can have the leftovers the next day.
That's a good system, but we don't have our own kids. And
Right. No,
I
yeah.
found out the hard way that you can't just borrow other people's kids and send them out to get you candy. Yeah, it's apparently
That is-
frowned upon in
that's also-
society.
that's also a good strategy. Well, it is it's all right. You guys can just sit there and keep the lights off and don't have any fun tonight. All the rest of us will have all the fun. Fitz, K-State survived the Sunflower Showdown. I don't know how else to say it. It became a game of who's going to make the last mistake almost. At least that's what it was through my eyes. But they're there. They get through it. So what, right? And in their season, I think that's okay. Like, I think it's okay to look at a game that way. Like, yep, we survived it. We made it through all the landmines potentially of that game. It was chock full of them, and now we get to move on with our season. I think they have to feel good about it, don't they?
I mean, at the end of the day, a win gets you where you need to go and a loss doesn't. So, yeah, they won. They found a way to win. And honestly, if you're going to have a great football season, particularly in the Big 12, you got to win those games because the line between the teams that win those games and lose those games is what decides who goes to the Big 12 championship. So if K-State can stay the course, it's, right now for them, it's really not about looking good. You'd prefer that, or playing that great. You'd prefer that. It's about winning. And if they can win 4 more times, including winning at Iowa State at the end of the year, which I recognize won't be easy, we'll take them to the Big 12 championship and offer them an opportunity to get into the playoff. Period.
I keep going back, Fitz, to that final defensive stand from Kansas State in the game where it was like every single play, they just brought the house and just blitzed the crap out of the Jayhawks. And I mentioned this on Monday when we were talking about the game and recapping it, that was pretty ballsy for Joe Klanderman to continue to do that. And hats off to him, credit to him, for calling those blitzes over and over again, because Kansas offensively never adjusted. They never did anything to get away from that. But in that moment, when it mattered the most, and the Jayhawks just needed to get into field goal range, Klanderman drew up the blitzes perfectly and just brought the house every single time. That was really impressive to me, I thought.
Yeah, ask Coach Kleiman after the game about that, and he said, we literally just brought everyone that wasn't in man coverage covering a particular receiver. We brought it all, and it worked. And we know that Jalen Daniels hasn't functioned as well this year when under pressure like that, and K-State didn't really do that the entire game. They tried to with some, blitzes that weren't all out, but it didn't get home very often, and Jalen Daniels was really good. So they finally found a way to knock him off his spot just in a nick of time. And on top of that, despite blitzing everyone, they were able to get him to the ground when he scrambled and actually found a pathway to a first down. They somehow tracked him down. BJ Payne put on the rocket boosters and tracked him down from behind with a huge play to force another fumble.
I was pretty impressed, Fitz, that they stuck with the run in this one. And Avery Johnson ran. We wondered, how he would feel and if he would, and he certainly did. But DJ Giddens, before, he didn't have much going until that long run he made early in the second half. And then it sort of opened up a little bit. But in a game where they just never got desperate with it and they stuck to it. And I think that probably matters as we make our way through the rest of the Big 12 to know that even if it's not going early, they're going to try to establish that because they just are very clearly a much better team when they can run the ball.
Yeah. And what changed, to be blunt, is they stopped trying to run it between the tackles and they let Dylan Edwards and DJ Giddens get off tackle because people are stacking up their defense in the heart because K-State loves to run not just between the tackles, but between the guards quite often.
Yeah.
And teams are taking that away. Well, they took it outside, just a couple gaps, and boom, it starts breaking loose. And then KU has to account for that. And it kind of turned the fate of the day right there.
It's always interesting when you get down to the end of a game and look back on it and realize that probably, especially late in the game, the most clutch player on the field was the kicker. I mean, Chris Tennant being able to drill that field goal, which wasn't an easy kick by any means. And that ultimately, that was those are the winning points for the Wildcats. And obviously you followed Tennant throughout his entire career at Kansas State. It hasn't always been amazing for him. He's gone through some adversity in his career. Seeing him be able to go through all of that and then hit the game-winning field goal to be able to beat your in-state rival, that's kind of the cherry on top for a career that's kind of gone through a lot of different stages.
Let's not forget that in 2022, he was the field goal kicker, the place kicker, and was supplanted because he kind of got the yips. We remember seeing him at TCU, the game K-State lost that regular season, just drilling 60-yard field goals in warmups, just driving the ball through, and it got in the game and tries to steer it and falls short. And he went through that. And finally this year, they decided to take kickoff duties off of his platter because it apparently was like distracting him, wearing him out a little bit. And so now someone else does it, and can focus completely on extra points and field goals. And he just found the benefit of it because he was really laser focused on that kick and drove it right down the middle.
What do we need to focus on with Houston? Like they probably should just be able to do whatever they want to do, right? Like just come in and I want to say dominate the game. I know it's a road conference game. I understand the dangers of a road conference game, but if you're going to dominate a game and you should expect to dominate a game, this is the one you should expect to dominate.
Yeah. Because Houston doesn't handle the run very well. And they do like to run it, which typically has been one of K-State's defensive strengths. KU kind of found a way to crack that. So maybe Houston will try to tap into that. But keep in mind, Willie Fritz coached Tulane in 2022, going back to that season again, and they won in Manhattan. He didn't have the talent. He certainly didn't have the quarterback, but he has a philosophy, a blueprint to how to do it. And I'm sure he'll try to follow that. I'm sure K-State will try to disrupt that. Really what K-State needs to do, these players have been through a lot. This 4-game stretch with, 3 out of 4 on the road, night games. They just need to finish this off. They need to get through this one because next week's an off week heading into the final 3-game stretch. So this is literally go take care of business and get out of there. And don't let Houston establish things that will make them confident and hang around for an entire game, because they've done that a few times in the Big 12. They've been smoked, but they do have 2 wins, which a lot of other teams in this conference can't say about their Big 12 schedule.
You mentioned a few minutes ago that, they've got to win the next 4, and that includes on the road at Iowa State. In your opinion, and I know Houston is next in line, I feel like this team has done a really good job of just being focused on what's right in front of them and not really looking ahead. But in your opinion, how do you prevent, because it's just going to be inevitable, or at least natural, to think about Farmageddon to close out the regular season in Ames with potentially a chance to play in the Big 12 championship game and a playoff berth on the line?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it really is. If you're Kansas State now, you just got to keep your eyes on the task right in front of you. And I think in a weird way, Arizona State and Cincinnati have done a favor in that regard, because at the start of the season, we expected those games to be, just walk out there and punch the time clock and go get a victory salad. Are there victory salads? I don't know why I said that. Okay. And then now they're pretty good teams. They're a legitimate threat. You can't look past them. And in a weird way, I think that helps K-State stay focused on what's in front of them. But I think the guys, from what I can see, are a little bit mentally and physically worn from this stretch. It's been brutal. I mean, that late night game at Colorado set their clocks back a little bit, and then they go play a late night game on the road at West Virginia, not as late, and then you come home, play another night game against your rival. It's been a stretch, but yeah, you just got to stay right in what's in front of you. And all 3 of the teams being on the road at Houston, Arizona State, Cincinnati at home, they can get you if you don't pay attention, and I think these kids know that.
One more, and we'll talk college basketball too, Fitz. The tight end play is so incredible, and they're about to bring in the number 1 tight end in the country next year. But as we move from Ben Sinnott to this group, and then that moving into the future, we got a little tight end you thing happening, and that matters, right? Because as these guys, these young prospects, learn and see this stuff and see how this offense utilizes the tight end. But I just can't help but think how perfect this is for Avery Johnson, and I think about how great Lamar Jackson has always been with tight ends, like quarterbacks that can run. It feels like can get the best use out of those guys, and K-State has just loads of them.
Yeah, it's amazing. They're 4 deep there. We might see Braden Lofton back in more action this week. Maybe they'll wait till after the break to make sure he's healed up. But yeah, they can rotate 4 out there and bring in Lincoln Kier next year. The year after that, in 26, there's a really good one in Great Bend. We'll see how that goes. I find it interesting that these kids that are, in that 6'4" to 6'6" range, who typically in places like Kansas, Nebraska, and Iowa would play basketball and put all their energy in basketball. I think it's the Kelsey effect. I think they now are seeing what Travis Kelsey can do, what he brings to the field and the kind of money he can earn as a tight end, and what fun it looks like to play. And I think kids are playing football to be a tight end, which is kind of a cool development, particularly if you're K-State because you like them. But if you look at the roster, Ben Sinnott was from Iowa. Most of these kids on the roster now are from Nebraska. Ancio's from down there in Wichita. They're bringing in a kid from Goodland. They're aiming for a kid in Great Bend. This is really cool. This is not only tight end U, but it's very regional. It's not like they're shopping around the country. They're finding homegrown talent in the Midwest to come in and do this. And these tight ends are really good.
Let's talk hoops a little bit, Fitz. The exhibition game, Fort Hays State inside Bramlage on Tuesday night. I think there are several takeaways, just from this first time we've been able to look at kind of the new look Wildcat team. Of course, Coleman Hawkins is going to be kind of the go-to guy, but really Bringenhausen for me, as far as takeaways are concerned. I mean, I know he was 5 of 14 from the arc. He took a lot of 3-pointers, but he's going to probably be asked to take a lot of 3-pointers on this team. That was my, I think, biggest takeaway, was watching what his role is going to be and how effective he'll be in doing it.
Yeah, he's a true shooter. I mean, that was a bad night for him. Typically when he plays, he's going to come in, and if he's not hitting, he's going to come out. They let him play. They let him see what he could do. And K-State just hasn't had that in a long time, not just in the 2 years previous under Tang, but in a long time. It's been since a really pure shooter. And that's been a weapon that they have needed to stretch the defense, to keep you honest, to change the tide of a game, and maybe to come in and all of a sudden hit 2 or 3 in a row and really alter a game. So he's going to be an important part of the incredible depth that K-State basketball has. They played that game without a few key pieces. Sounds like Doug McDaniel's a little bit in the doghouse as they try to get everyone, ready and focused for the season. I think this will be a pretty good team. This is going to be a very good team. Coleman Hawkins is pretty special.
Yeah.
But it's their depth. And now let's see if they can put it together in what will be an absolutely obnoxiously good Big 12.
Yeah. So Hausen's interest, I was joking with Brandon Zinner before the game that day, and I said I selfishly think he's going to be a big part of that. It's because he's from my hometown, and I do think he's a much better player than he was at Villanova. But I listened back yesterday to what Jerome Tang was saying after the game, and somebody said, 14 threes, like, are you okay with that? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. Like, we absolutely are, because if they're good looks, Tang knows, you got to be able to take those. And I'm sure, because it didn't go, all that well at Villanova, people don't realize he's like a lights out. He'll be one of the best shooters in the country.
Yeah.
I mean, 14 threes, he shot 36%, and it feels like it could have been better than 36%. I don't know if he's taking 14 a game, but I'll bet you he's taking, 5 a game, 6 a game.
I want to point out that while 5 of 14 sounds bad, that's
36%.
About what Arthur Kaluma averaged last year as the best shooter on the team. And one truth about basketball coaching exists that we haven't seen in this area for a while, because they haven't had a true 3-point shooter at K-State in a while, is when you've got a guy that can absolutely fill it up and get cooking, you let him in the kitchen. And if that means he's going to break a few dishes and miss some shots, you let him get in there and get to work, because It's my favorite part of basketball when you see a shooter just absolutely slide into the zone and can't miss. Everything they throw up is going in, and he's got that capability. He's that special. But there'll also be games where he's just off and won't play a whole lot. That's the role of a shooter. Come in and help when you can.
Sure. All right, and the other thing with hoops, Fitz, that I just what is the rotation? We saw the starters. It was 8 guys. We know they had guys out. KU looks like they could legitimately run 9 or 10.
Yeah.
What is K-State going to do with that? We don't even have a good idea who the starters yet are going to be, do we?
No. I mean, I think if people were caught off guard that Doug McDaniel didn't start, but apparently they're trying to get him steered in the right direction. I would imagine it involves on-campus attendance things. That's just my guess. But CJ Jones started at point guard, which I found a little bit surprising and did a good job. Max Jones, who they took to Kansas City and just love, was sidelined for the game. The problem here is going to be figuring out that rotation and keeping people happy because they've got a roster full of guys they feel like can play. They don't have anyone that they look at the bench and say, I don't want to put you in. Everyone has a spot. And I think the most encouraging thing to come out of that was the level of play of Michaela Rich. He was really active, and you started to see his athleticism with confidence, some of the things we didn't see last year. So that adds to that incredible depth. This could be a really good K-State team, but sorting through that depth and figuring out a rotation, it's going to be a hell of a challenge for this coaching staff.
Yeah, it'll be. I'm excited. I still do think, and maybe I'm wrong, I still do think on, what are we at? Well, it's Halloween. On October 31st, this is the most talented group Tang has brought to the table as of October. Now, we know that first year, obviously, that everything went perfect, but as of an October 31st, this feels like the most talent on the floor he's got.
Oh, absolutely. And he'll tell you that. And, he was missing Desi Sills that first year until almost the start of the season. He had to take a short semester in the fall to be eligible to play. And they didn't have all of his parts until late August, right as school was starting last year. He had them all at the start of the summer this year. And I think now he realizes how important that is to have all of your pieces. Everyone goes to the gym and practices and plays and does workouts. And the unity of the team starts to build early. He really likes this bunch, both on and off the court. And now we'll see if they can produce results in a hyper-competitive conference.
Fitz, what do you guys have going to Go Power Cat for us?
Well, after I finish with you guys, I'm going to finish up Cole Carmody's Tale of the Tape from the KU game, his video breakdown. That'll be available, but behind a paywall. So go subscribe to Go Power Cat for that. It's really good stuff. And we cranked out the Power Cat pregame podcast last night. I think it's a really good one. It's a little bit shorter. We were a little more condensed. And the pregame coverage is rolling up. And then, of course, Kansas State basketball tips off on Tuesday, and we will be there.
And we cannot wait for that. Go to GoPowerCat.com. You can follow Fitz at Life of Fitz. Enjoy all the candy that you won't be giving out to kids tonight, Fitz. Yeah. And happy Halloween.
Tommy, great grumpy old man costume.
Perfect. Appreciate that. Yeah, appreciate that.
I appreciate it, Fitz. I've been giving Tommy a hard time. But the reality is there are far more people, I think, that just don't care than do. But whatever. I don't care. I am now pretending like I care more far than I do just to give Tommy a hard time.
Well, I'm so jaded now. I used to think what a cool thing. The kids go around, everyone gives them candy. And now it's like, you little beggars.
Yeah. Number one Halloween candy, by the way. What are you stealing the most of?
Probably just old school Snickers, man. You can't go wrong.
Snickers are good. I look forward to the Butterfingers this time of year, Tommy. I know you like candy.
Yeah, well, thank you. I'm a Reese's guy. So I'm always going to go down that.
Which size though? Which size? Because there's different ratios.
The larger you can get, the better.
No, I mean which size of the ratio do you prefer? Because I think the minis are a better ratio to the peanut butter.
Oh, I get what you're saying. They're good. Yeah, those are good. The best ones though are the specialty shapes, like the pumpkins.
The Easter egg ones, the most peanut butter.
Those ones are.
Hey, Tommy, Jacob seems like a guy as a kid that had been excited over that toothbrush you got.
100%.
Yeah.
Got to keep them shiny.
Look at those teeth.
Yeah. You got to give me.
I'm surprised you don't hand out carrots, to kids when they come to your door.
Carrots and hummus. Hey, kids, would you like some hummus and fresh vegetables?
Little grape juice?
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Fitz.
Thank you, boys.
We're going to come back. let's regroup a little bit. Back-to-back guests means the IHOP hotline is open for you the rest of the way. On the way out, let's give away some HTO. You can get that sweet or unsweet, depending on, by the way, kind of on brand there. Unsweet or sweet iced tea, iced or hot coffee, all available for you. You can get one of each right now by texting the keyword T to the short code 20357. These will be good for East Wichita, West Wichita, or Derby. Good luck, everybody. You can enter once per day. Message and data rates apply. Again, that's T to the short code 20357 to win some HTO. We'll come back. More Sports Daily right after this.
A mourning widow sells her husband's car trying to move on, but the checks came back in his name.
How do they expect him to cash his check?
Looking for answers, fact finder Brandon Stitt went to the Department of Revenue. A proposed energy plan that threatens Kansas landowners, meaning some families could lose their homes.
My land is not for sale. Others' land is not for sale. Our lifestyle is not for sale.
12 News took their concerns to Senators Marshall and Moran. When you need answers, turn to the fact finders for help. Right. Start your day with 12 News this morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSEW.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into the jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just
right
search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
Welcome back in, everybody. It is Sports Daily, catching our breath here after a jam-packed couple of segments there. Let's go back to the World Series, Tommy. I think you talked me into a fulfilling series. I didn't want it. I wanted to see it longer than 5 games. I always feel like we left it, but there are individual moments of the series certainly memorable between, of course, the Grand Slam in Game 1 that'll be remembered forever. The parallel of that and Gibson is pretty remarkable. Freddie Freeman coming into the series being so hobbled and ended up, as the MVP was a memorable moment. The fans getting that ball or trying to get that ball from Mookie Betts was a pretty memorable moment. And then the comeback last night. So, it had those moments. I got to be 100% honesty. I almost did. And it just was not ready to totally lock into the game yet. We were doing a bunch of other stuff. When I saw it was 5-0, I was like, I really want to go put a money line bet on the Dodgers here. This feels like they could cut with that offense. It feels, and I don't even know what it was. I never even went and looked at the odds, but I kind of had a feeling the Yankees were going to fall apart last night.
Well, yeah. And it wasn't even the Dodgers offense. It was the Yankees just absolutely falling apart. I don't know if there's been another example of a team in that spot on that stage, just doing what they did like that ever before. I mean, the number of unearned runs. I mean, all 5 of the Dodgers runs that they scored in that 5th inning were unearned. It was all defensive miscues by the Yankees to allow the Dodgers right back into the game. And then, of course, the Yankees were able to take the lead, but then here come the Dodgers again, and just at that point, the momentum had totally shifted back to the Dodgers. And really, today, as you look back on it, I'm sure that Aaron Boone and all the players are thinking about this. They honestly have nobody to blame but themselves.
Sure. Yeah, they had a bad series after having a really good postseason coming in. All the headlines, Boone's job, should it be in trouble? And all. I'm like, get out of here. Like, you're just in the World Series.
By the way, I saw this on social media last night. Really, guys named Aaron have had a really bad little while in New York. Like, it's been rough in New York. Aaron Judge, Aaron Boone, Aaron Rodgers. It's been rough to be named Aaron and be playing in professional sports in New York.
Speaking of names, how about this? Did I send you this? I don't know if I sent you this. The last 5 World Series have been won by somebody named Will Smith. You had the Dodgers in 5 years ago, and then you had the 3 straight years of Will Smith, the pitcher. That didn't work out for the Royals this year. Of course, he wasn't on the active roster at the time. And then the Will Smith gets it back. 5 straight years, the Fresh Prince has been a part of a World Series champion. That's pretty wild. That's a pretty wild stat.
Now, you have to keep in mind that the name Will Smith is probably incredibly common.
Sure.
You're not going to have, Benedict Cumberbatch. Like, that's not going to happen 5 years in a row. But Will Smith is well known enough. Like, that's a common enough name that, it's surprising, but not overly surprising, I guess.
It's been 2 guys. 2 guys have done it. The Will Smith pitcher being a part of 3 straight was probably more impressive individually, honestly, because it was 3 different teams when he did that. But pretty fun little thing I saw. And now Juan Soto's free agency becomes a big, headline of the offseason. And no, Royals fans, I don't think they'll be in on Juan Soto. But his free agency, and he's been very open about anybody can come talk to him. I don't think he's got any inclination to give the Yankees any sort of, discount, but that will become a big storyline out of the game as well. But yeah, okay. You've talked me into it. That was a good World Series. Look,
It was a good World Series.
The Yankees lost, so I'm happy either way. Like, I'm happy with it because the Yankees lost, and I still think they're my most hated team in all of sports. I still think they wear that cap for me.
You know what would have made, in my opinion, the World Series even better? And it wasn't even that it only went 5 games. I know that if it had gone longer, you would have thought it was better. But for me, had Shohei Ohtani not gotten hurt in game 2, I mean, I know he played the rest of the series, but him swinging the bat was not anywhere close to what we're accustomed to. I saw the stat last night that he was in, I think at that time, the 3rd longest home run drought between at bats of the season. And he just didn't look the same. He didn't have the power. And it was a minor shoulder injury, but still, I think enough
dislocated shoulder, wasn't it?
You could definitely tell that the swing was limited.
Yeah, I'm not going to hold that against him. It does cap off his season, though. He's just absolutely ridiculous and unbelievable season. That is one of the great seasons we've ever seen. And in the World Series helps that, of course. You got to kind of win the World Series to put that in there. But my goodness, what an unbelievable year for that guy. And you know, we begin to wonder, is he the greatest baseball player that's ever played? I'm not going to say he's had the greatest career we've ever seen, but I think I'm probably just fine saying he's the greatest baseball player we've ever seen play. I think I'm fine with that proclamation, even this early in what it is that he'll do.
From a talent perspective, yeah, I mean, there's nobody else that approaches that just because of everything that he can do when he is fully healthy. So I'm on board with that. I will say, even though I don't like the Yankees, I'm on board with that, just like you are. It is good, I think, to see Aaron Judge have some success last night. Now, he's going to be remembered.
I agree.
He's going to be overall remembered in this series as a disappearing act and not doing anything. And obviously a large contributing factor to why the Yankees lost in 5 games. He's also going to be remembered for the defensive miscue in center field last night that started the debacle in the 5th inning for the Dodgers. All those runs that come back, but he homered. He came alive a little bit more offensively in the final couple games of the World Series. Nobody's going to remember that, but for me, at least, it was not, because I don't want to see somebody like have all of that pressure on their shoulders, even though I don't
either. I agree with what you're saying.
And continue to crumble time after time after time. Like, that doesn't feel good.
I agree with that. I have no issue with Aaron Judge other than the fact that he plays for the Yankees. And I do love that we have a true home run slugging threat to break the record every year. It's very good for baseball. And I totally agree. I wish he would have played better in the series. Same outcome, but I wish he would have played better. We broached this right before we let Fitz go on best Halloween candy. You're a Reese's guy, love Reese's. I think I wouldn't say this is the best candy. It's just what I look forward to the most in Halloween, because it's really the only time I ever get them is a Butterfinger. You don't really see Butterfingers anymore outside of Halloween. But I wanted to get Jad's take on that. Jad, what is your favorite Halloween candy?
You see, I'm kind of strange on candy or anything like dessertish or sweet or anything like that. See, when it comes to like chocolates, I like dark chocolates. Okay. And so very recently, and you were talking about Reese's earlier, Tommy, very recently, they have come out with a dark chocolate Reese's that is also what they call a slim. They're very, very thin version of peanut butter cups. So there's a lot more like chocolate to peanut butter ratio. I think I like those the best, but I mean, they're specialty things. That's not something that people are going to buy to hand out to
That's
kids.
Okay. No, I mean, look, I mean, you're wrong, by the way, about dark chocolate being better than milk chocolate.
I actually do. The older I get, the more I like dark chocolate.
Here's what I
like dark chocolate.
I like that it's significantly better for me. And so I'll make that switch willingly. It's fine. But there's no planet where I think it tastes better.
But here's the thing. And I've done a little bit of research on this because I've been curious about it. Apparently, the older that you get, your taste buds change, right? Like they adapt the older that you get. And you've got to get different kinds of flavors that have a little bit, they're stronger flavors for it to actually work. And so like the older I get, I like spicy food more than I did when I was younger because my taste buds need more of that to actually make an impact. Same thing with chocolate. Like milk chocolate doesn't have, it's good. I'm a chocolate fan entirely, but milk chocolate doesn't have as strong of a flavor as dark chocolate does. So I've become more prone to liking dark chocolate the older I get.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I get that because I like, I drink, my bourbon or my whiskey with water. Like I
Right.
don't put anything in it. I black coffee, so I do think there's probably some truth to that. Rapid fire on some candies. You guys tell me if you're on board or not, because I think there are some candies that aren't, appreciated enough. One being the Payday. I love the Payday. We don't talk enough about Paydays because it doesn't have chocolate, but a Payday is a fantastic candy.
I like Payday a lot. I'm always on board with that.
I'll go thumbs down on that one.
Do you like caramel though, Chad? Are you anti-caramel? 'Cause that
No.
would make sense.
Yeah. That's kind of the problem, actually.
Got it.
Peanuts, I'm fine with. I'm good with that. But
What about, because we always talk about those. How about you when you get into the like the gummy type candies,
Like the non-chocolate category of
yeah,
candy?
like the sour punch straws, or they have these things called Airhead Extremes now that are just incredible. It's what one of my kids and I always get when we go to the movies. Are you in on those, or do you just kind of need it to be chocolate?
I'm okay with. I mean, I'm not a big Skittles fan, so that I know
No,
that's not really a
Skittles are-
gummy. I'm not really a Skittles fan, but other than that,
Skittles
Sour
are a
Patch
waste of time.
Kids, the Sour Punch straws, some of the other gum, like I'm okay with those.
yeah, I'm good with the sour ones, the really sour ones. That's cool. I enjoy
Can I
that.
tell you? I'm going to tell you a category of candy that when I was a kid I loved, and now that I'm an adult, it seems entirely unnecessary. And the reason that I thought about it, we took our boys to Exploration Place over the weekend. They did their Boo Fest Halloween deal, and you could trick or treat with your kids around all the different exhibits at Exploration Place, and they were handing out candy. And the two that come to mind, Pixie Sticks and Fun Dip.
Yeah.
And I remember loving those when I was a kid.
Straight sugar.
Straight sugar. And I'm like, now as an adult, why do we do that? Like, why is that still a thing? Like, my kid doesn't need that. I loved it when I was a kid. Now as an adult, I'm not into that.
I can't remember the last time I've had a Pixie Stick. I have tried a Fun Dip because my kids get. Yeah,
I mean, the Fun Dip
agree with that.
is like solid sugar dipped in powdered sugar. Like, it's just sugar and more sugar. That's it.
I'm gonna give you one. This will surprise probably everybody. My son's favorite candy, the one he gets the most excited about, a Whopper.
I like Whoppers.
They're fine, right? But you're not thinking about a Whopper. But man, he gets fired. He calls them Whoppers. He gets fired up for Whoppers. I don't think they're bad. Here's my problem with it. I don't want to eat all that junk. I got to be a little more selective than I used to. Like when I eat sweet stuff, this is another reason I like Halloween, because I like the mini ones. I will eat like a bite of it. Like if we go to get ice cream, I want the smallest size they have. So I'm a little bit more selective now. Like I don't want to waste my time with some of these. Like I loved Milk Duds as a kid. I'm not wasting my Halloween time with Milk Dud. Like I'm sorry. And you could honestly, like if there's not something with the chocolate can go away. I don't even like chocolate that much. Everything I like has something with the chocolate.
So you're probably then out on like Gobstoppers because those take forever.
No time for that. I will tell you one though, then this goes anti to that. A only purple Spree is delicious.
Yeah.
But only the purple.
I mean, I like Sprees, but Sweet Tarts are, always going to be number one for me. I'm a Sweet Tart fan.
Okay, I've already explained that I'm not a caramel guy. That's something that I don't really like all that much. I will make an exception. The Rolo is fantastic.
Yeah.
I
Rolo
love
it's a good chocolate to caramel ratio. It's all about the ratio. Like you just, as long as there's not too much chocolate, most of these I'm in on.
How do you feel about white chocolate? So like the cookies
I
and
like it.
Or the zero
like it.
bars. Like I'm not really a fan of that. Typically, like those are the first to go. Like somebody else can take those. Just the flavor combination, I'm not big on.
I don't, I don't know that I've tried like the white chocolate Reese's. In general, though, I like white chocolate. Like I'll give you an example. If I would rather have it like on a Hershey Kiss, I'd much rather have the white chocolate like swirled one than just the plain one. I mean, my wife would throw all the white chocolate on the planet pile and burn it. But I'm okay with white chocolate. I'm all right with it. It's all good in Halloween, but give me all the Butterfingers. That's what I'm rating the basket for tonight. Is the Butterfingers.
Nothing gets me more disappointed than looking at a big jar of candy or like a Halloween bucket of my kids or whatever, and seeing the ratio of candy, like actually good candy, versus Tootsie Rolls. Like, why are we still doing Tootsie Rolls?
Yeah, they're fine, but again, like if we're being selective, and we should be,
right?
And be careful, because every time I come into the studio to do this show or to do the national shows, I always steal Tootsie Rolls from Tony Dusing's office. So
I don't know why he does Tootsie Rolls. Like, Tony, if you're listening to this, can we step up the game a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather steal, like Butterfingers or Snickers, but I will steal the Tootsie Rolls that are always in his office. So I mean, I'm not anti Tootsie Roll, but yeah, if we're being selective, I'm probably with you on that. You ever had the flavored Tootsie Roll?
Yeah, terrible.
Some of those, like the cherry one, they're all
Awful.
right. They're okay. They're okay. Starburst, all that's basically a Starburst is what it is. Happy Halloween, everybody. You can give us your thoughts on your favorite Halloween candies. Anyone's off the wall. Whatever you do, can we all at least agree on this? Don't be the person that gives away like the generic hard candies. Like, don't be that person. Nobody wants that. Nobody likes it. That generation is past. Don't be that person tonight for Halloween.
I think you got to draw the line somewhere. Maybe Werther's Original. Like, if you're
I actually like those. I do like those. I like those, but you know what I mean? Like the shiny wrapper, you don't know what it is. Like nobody actually wants that. You're wasting your time and ours. Like, just bring the goods on Halloween.
You would like Werther's Original, by the way.
I do like, but I love caramel. And butterscotch. Yeah. Yep. I give me a Werther's, a cup of black coffee in the morning. Absolutely. I'm an old soul. There's nothing wrong with the Werther's. They're delicious. 869-1240. Let us know what you think of the Halloween candies. We'll continue on here on Sports Daily. We've had guests back-to-back. If you missed anything, you can go back and listen to those on the Odyssey app. But it does mean now that we have the IHOP hotline open. And it's at 869-1240, and you can call that. You can leave us comments on our video streams, 12 News Connected, Facebook, YouTube, X. It's all there for you. We're coming back. More Sports Daily when we return.
A mourning widow sells her husband's car trying to move on, but the checks came back in his name.
How do they expect him to cash his check?
Looking for answers, fact finder Brandon Stitt went to the Department of Revenue. A proposed energy plan that threatens Kansas landowners, meaning some families could lose their homes.
My land is not for sale. Others' land is not for sale. Our lifestyle is not for sale.
12 News took their concerns to Senators Marshall and Moran. When you need answers, turn to the fact finders for help. Right. Start your day with 12 News this morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSEW.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into the jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. Clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just
right
search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
Back, everybody. Chris says on Twitter, he's just sent a message and said he's with my son on Whoppers. This is in his top 3. I'm not anti-Whopper. I just am never thinking about a Whopper. Like, it's never on my mind. All right. Let's go to the IHOP hotline now. We have Phil on the line, wants to ask us a question about Will Howard. Phil, what's on your mind? Welcome to Sports Daily.
Yeah. I wonder if you think Will Howard could get in the Heisman race. I know right now he's rated second quarterback rating behind the Indiana quarterback now, and they have a big game with Penn State, top 5 game this weekend. So.
This would be an opportunity to do it. I can tell you that right now, Will Howard is still 100-1, and he'd be, around like the 15th or so odds-on favorite. I think if he didn't have that moment at the end of their loss, it might be a little higher. He's having a good year, right? He's 17 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. I think for Will Howard, it just going to have to be, Phil, that they win a national championship or are in position to, because don't they give the award right before that game? They're in a position to, and he plays lights out in a Big Ten championship and a couple of playoff games, and then they can go back and look at his numbers. But yeah, I mean, I don't think he's out of it by any means. I wouldn't say he's out of it. Dylan Gabriel has become the favorite. Travis Hunter, Cam Ward have all surpassed Ashton Jeanty of Boise State. So it's an interesting mix. I think Shedeur Sanders, if they win a bunch of games, is an interesting name because he's as talented as any of them. It probably should go to Travis Hunter because he plays 2 ways and he's very good at both. My futures bet that I have, Tommy, is on Jeanty. Phil, we appreciate the call, by the way.
Yeah. I do think I will say that as far as Will Howard is concerned, I don't think he's out of it. I agree with you there, but the margin's very small because what's going to ultimately end up happening if there's another loss on the resume, or if there are, if he doesn't play quite as well, or maybe not incredible, is the voters are going to look back to the way that the Oregon game ended. And it was on Will Howard's shoulders to lead Ohio State down the field to win the game for the Buckeyes. And just the clock management was poor and all of that. That's one blemish on an otherwise pretty good season that Will Howard, really good season for Will Howard for Ohio State. So the margin is small, but it's not non-existent. I think if he can continue to still play at a really high level and they win a bunch of games and, like you said, find themselves in a position to win a national title, then yeah, I could see those odds, continuing to get better for him.
And the reason that's even more exacerbated, they haven't beat anybody. They haven't played anybody yet. Oregon was their one chance, and they almost had it and maybe could have. Now they get a chance to go get their biggest win of the year by far. They get Indiana, the upstart, right. They'll still get a Big Ten title game, and they'll get a couple of playoff games. So for Will Howard, he just needs to be really good, and they need to win those big games, because right now they've just been beating up on teams that are mediocre at best. And so I think that makes it a little more difficult. They just haven't been in a lot of big games. People don't have, whereas Oregon's played a ton of them, right? And Colorado has its own kind of flash, and JT might set records this year. Will Howard's he's been playing really well for a team that's beating bad teams, but by comparison. So he'll get an opportunity to shine a little bit more in that spotlight. And it begins this weekend against Penn State. I hope he does really, really well against Penn State, because I think you'll see those odds go up. But appreciate that call. It's something we haven't talked about at all. So Phil, thank you for giving us that call. Tommy, real quick, we saw left tackle traded. The Vikings went and they made their move. Honestly, it wasn't even all that expensive. We talked about this a little bit yesterday with the Chiefs. And real quick, I think the problem for me is I don't know how good of a left tackle Cam Robinson is. I don't know if Cam Robinson's that much of an upgrade over what the Chiefs have at left tackle. I'm not an offensive line whiz. So
it's not hard. It's a low bar to upgrade.
But when you think about upside and price and cost, I mean, he's a left tackle for a really bad football team. The Vikings had to make that move. I don't think the Chiefs, I think my point is they're not at the level of desperation the Vikings were, who lost their left tackle for the year. But I do think the Chiefs are rolling with what they've got at left tackle. Andy Reid, sort of hinted as much, but it was interesting to see the market sort of set on left tackles, and it's basically what they paid for DeAndre Hopkins. All right, we'll come back. We'll wrap this up. We'll tell you what's on the network tonight. Don't go away. Sports Daily. Happy Halloween. Coming right back.
A mourning widow sells her husband's car trying to move on, but the checks came back in his name.
How do they expect him to cash his check?
Looking for answers, fact finder Brandon Stitt went to the Department of Revenue. A proposed energy plan that threatens Kansas landowners, meaning some families could lose their homes.
My land is not for sale. Others' land is not for sale. Our lifestyle is not for sale.
12 News took their concerns to Senators Marshall and Moran. When you need answers, turn to the fact finders for help. Right. Start your day with 12 News this morning. Get ready with Jake's accurate hour-by-hour forecast, so you'll know if you need a jacket when you walk out the door or an umbrella by lunch. Start your day knowing what happened overnight and what's happening now. Live, breaking news all morning long. And plan the best route to work and school with traffic from across Kansas. Start your day right. Start your day with 12 News this morning on KWCH and KSEW.
Hey, Wichita, Jim Rome here, celebrating over 25 years as the #1 midday sports talk show on Wichita Radio. Find out why. Tune into the jungle, weekdays 11 until 2 on 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Clouds are not just the canvas of our imagination. They tell a story. clouds affect the events of your day. Sometimes they growl, sometimes they inspire, but they're always the messengers of nature's mood written in the sky. Storm Team 12 understands the language of clouds. We're dedicated to decoding their message so you know what to expect. Behind every cloud, there is a story waiting to be told. Trust Ross Jansen and Storm Team 12, alerting you first to the impact on your life.
When you need help, remember, you're not alone. We are here. We are neighbors. We are together. We are Kansas. We are 12 News.
They say it takes a village. Come together and support local businesses in our neighborhoods. When you contribute to local shops, more money goes back into the economy. Shopping local makes our state stronger. So give back to the communities you love and watch our businesses and communities thrive. Shop local and be Kansas proud.
At 12 News, we know you're busy, which is why we're here whenever you need us. Anytime, any screen. With live breaking news.
Critically hurt after an apartment.
Storm Team 12 forecast.
Snowing for many miles.
And the stories you don't want to miss.
The scene's still very active.
Just
right
search KWCH 12 News wherever you stream and catch up on the latest news of the day. All for free and on your schedule, hopefully making your day a little bit easier. And did I mention the Storm Team 12 forecast? 12 News whenever you want.
Sometimes people tell us, I don't get it, it's just tea. But let me tell you, we are so much more than just tea. With more than 25 flavors, the possibilities are endless. Come on in and try them all for free to find your favorite or get us on the go for your busy lifestyle. And don't miss happy hour every day for half-price cups of tea. So the next time someone tells you it's just tea, tell them to come by and find out why we say drink tea, be happy.
Determining fact from fiction. That's our full-time job.
You need to have someone give you the whole story from every side.
To help you when no one else is listening.
You need someone to put you first.
That's what we do.
We bring you the facts first.
When you need it.
Wherever you are.
12 News. Facts first.
That'll do it for us, everybody. Don't forget, you got Thursday Night Football coming up tonight. Texans Jets. That coverage on Westwood One begins at 6:30 right here on KFH or the Odyssey app. Tommy, enjoy your just normal, very normal, nothing special night here on a Thursday.
Yeah. Happy October 31st, everybody.
Happy Halloween to everybody else. Enjoy the candy. Please be safe out there. By the way, if you're driving around, don't forget that it's Halloween and there's lots of little kids in dark costumes walking around, running around the neighborhood. Be careful out there. Stay warm, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll make some picks. We'll have some fun. The whole gang's in. See you then.
Don't come to my house.